formerly the Ambassador Hotel. The LAUSD opened. A very large. Formerly the Ambassador Hotel. Redone by the LAUSD. Wilshire Boulevard. The site of the former Ambassador Hotel.
The hotel opened in 1921 was designed by Myron Hunt with later renovations by Paul Williams. The Ambassador Hotel was one of Los Angeles' defining historic sites. It was the catalyst for the development of the entire Wilshire Boulevard corridor, which had been a dirt road before the Ambassador opened. It was also home to the Cocoanut Grove nightclub, Los Angeles' premier night spot for decades, host to 6 Oscar ceremonies, and to every U.S. president from Herbert Hoover to Richard Nixon, and the site of the tragic assassination of Robert F. Kennedy in 1968. Now, it's located at 3400 Wilshire Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, and the owner was the Shine family, and management of the Ambassador Hotel Corporation in 1921, the Shine family. Architects, Myron Hunt and Paul Williams. Now, the hotel closed in 1989 and went through a succession of owners and potential owners. In 2001, the LAUSD purchased the property and announced its intent to build 3 schools on the site for the Wilshire Center Koreatown community, one of the densest and underserved areas in the district. After an epic battle to preserve the hotel ended in defeat,
Robert Kennedy came to us and asked 2 questions. What do you want and how can I help? That's why we loved him via Robert Kennedy. Dolores Huta, co-founder, United Farm Workers. Once isn't necessarily born with courage, but is born with potential. Without courage, we cannot practice other virtues, consistency. We can't be kind, merciful, generous, or honest. Maya Angelou. I would like to be known as a person who is concerned about freedom and equality and justice, prosperity for all people. Some people, he said, see things and say, why? But I dream things that never were, and I say, why not? George Bernard Shaw. Previous was Rosa Parks. My brother need not be idealized, enlarged in death beyond what he was in life. Rather, he should be remembered simply as a good and decent man who saw wrong and tried to right it, suffering, and tried to heal it. saw war and tried to stop it. Edward M. Kennedy. Students must have initiative. They should not be mere imitators. They must learn to think and act for themselves. Real education should consist of drawing and the goodness and best out of our own students. Once social change begins, it cannot reserve. You cannot uneducate the person who has learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the person who are not afraid anymore. We have seen the future, and the future is ours. Cesar Chavez. Robert F. Kennedy. This is our schools, our families, our homes, worship. These are the vessels in which we preserve traditions and wisdom and ideals of the past, in which we add the experience and insights which best serve our time, through which we pass our truest legacy to our children. In the sense, education is a cooperative process in which all of us engage to create a society, and the teachers learn as much as students. I believe we must build an America devoted to the ways of councilmen and peace between the sections, between the races, between the generations, and between our own nation and the rest of our world. Let us dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Robert F. Kennedy. The youth of our nation are the clearest mirror of the performance. The world demands the qualities of youth, not a time of life, but a state of mind, a temper of a will, quality of the imagination, a predominance of the courage over timidity, over the appetite for adventure, over the love of ease in this revolutionary world we live in. And thus, as I had said, in Latin America and in Asia, in Europe, and the United States, it is young people who must take the lead. Here before us today, there are hundreds of young people. America should allow them to be anything which their talent and intelligence can make them. If America fails these young people, if through indifference and callousness they are denied jobs, opportunities, or education, then the American dream, we know that if one man's rights are denied, the right of all are endangered. Robert F. Kennedy. Few will have the greatness to bend history, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written the history of this generation. It is from numberless, diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is thus shaped. Each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, it sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other form a million different centers of energy, and daring those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiness walls of oppression and resistance, Robert F. Kennedy. This is the site where he was assassinated. Now it's the Robert F. Kennedy High School. But this was formerly the Ambassador Hotel, now the Robert F. Kennedy High School.
The Ambassador Hotel was demolished in 2005 and 2006.
Robert F. Kennedy Inspirational Park.
Nightclub on Wilshire that was hosted 6 Oscar nominations. You had the Gaylord Apartments across the street, which allowed you to first own your own apartments here in Los Angeles. Wilshire Boulevard started out as a dirt road, and you also had the Brown Derby. And then you had Wilshire Bullocks down the street. Maybe it's just me, but it almost looks like they tried to keep the same style of the Ambassador Hotel. It almost looks the same. There's slight differences. Maybe that's just me. Robert F. Kennedy Inspirational Park. It's got some great quotes to live by from Robert F. Kennedy, Cesar Chavez, and Edward M. Kennedy. From the old to the new, the Ambassador Hotel carries on a legacy left with the tragic assassination of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with some great inspirational quotes inside the Inspirational Park. It almost looks like they tried to keep the same style of the Ambassador Hotel, and the high school is Robert F. Kennedy, and it's located on Catalina Avenue, and the actual Inspiration Park is on 3400 Wilshire Boulevard.